it is iYikKam time again. So today I like to share with you so that we can clear the so-called internal art once for all, okay, based on facts. We Wing Chuners need to be careful on this term, okay? That's why I like to present to you the following. The term 内家拳 internal art started in 1669, okay? So at 1669, it started the term internal art, and almost in the same era, also internal art and external art means Shaolin is external art because it is based on Buddhism. Wudang is internal art because it's based on Taoism. So it is a type of kinds of discriminations, okay, on or if this Buddhist art, this is internal, external. If this Taoist art, this is internal, okay. So that's what happened there. So you can read about the story in the 1669 about how this Taoist guy who beat the Shaolin monk, so forth, okay. And things come to 1900, early 1900. 形意八卦太极 now become an ally, and it become the internal art, okay. So this is where the internal art come from, okay. Now Wing Chun is a 贴身短打 stick body short strike. It doesn't go this type of categorizations, because in 1560s, General Qi Ji Guang of Ming Dynasty, when he had to train his army to fight the Japanese invader or pirates and so forth, at that time already there is stick body, short strike, and long fist. Okay. Long fist is such as today we can see the Changquan, okay. So there's 短打 and Changquan. So this exists in 1560s. Now for internal arts, it is up for somebody else to define it. Is it true that this is what represents the whole Chinese culture? Not necessary. Okay. And at early 1900, okay, after the Qing dynasty get overthrown and so forth, at the time of the modern China's governing, there is a few person, okay, and I want to show you this person. This person is a fiction or novel writer. So he wrote a lot of fantasy stuff on Chinese Kung Fu, internal and so forth, internal art, external arts, wrote that in the fictions or novel. So that is going to influence everybody, which is influencing today's movie and so forth. Okay, in Chinese there's what they call 武侠小说, the martial hero fictions, and it influenced that. And at this point today, most people took those as real, okay, and it become in a mess that people have already do not know what's going on, but took fictions to be real, okay. Mostly there's some minority who know what's going on, but the majority is just took those kinds of in today's term propaganda or so forth, okay, or marketing, become real. Now, so are we going to call ourselves Wing Chun internal art, forget about it. Why? Wing Chun, everybody says from Shaolin. How is Shaolin internal? Shaolin external per 1669. Okay? How is Wing Chun internal? Wing Chun is not Tai Chi Ba Gua Xi Yi. Okay? But Wing Chun is legitimate as stick body short strike, which is the true martial arts of martial art categorizations of General Qi Ji Guang of Ming Dynasty, who is using in the real life. Okay? So that is the facts. So let's stop using this so-called internal stuff. Okay? Now, so what is the content of this Qi and Jing and all this kind of stuff? People say, well, training Qi and Jing and internal and so forth. Well, it is simple. We don't want to call it internal. There's a reason why I composed the 6-13-3. The 6 core elements common denominator in the past. Okay? Because internal is some groups special terms. Okay, and that is belong to a certain group. We want to see what is in the Chinese culture. So there's the 6 core element: the body, the mind, the breathing, the qi flow, the strength, the momentum. That is what is needed. Because internal today, everybody is up for everybody's to define whatever they like. Okay. Now, if we look back of the 1,000 years of the Chinese internal development, notice I call it internal development. If we use a scientific term today to describe the basic of it, this is what it is. Human, when we do exercise or martial art or in fighting, we need oxygen to support, to energize. Okay? Oxygen. So the oxygen intake is important. The second thing is, when the body gets into strenuous training or fighting and so forth, it generates heat. Okay? And the body has to cool it. Otherwise, one can get this what called a heat stroke or those kind of things. Okay? So, the most basic of the internal body conditioning, the most basic, is to train the oxygen intake. Increase that. Okay? And also on the cooling of the body temperature raise. So the training of the loose up the physical, quiet down the mind, and the lower abs breathings on the full body breathings, and then the qi flow handling or the blood circulation handling. At the very basic minimum, if one really have the kung fu, the development, one be able to improve one's body's oxygen intake and the heat dissipations of the body. Anyone who have that training should be able to prove it in the laboratory, before the training and after the training. Okay? So that is the most fundamental. And then, on the strength side, it is the action and reaction force handling. It is this simple. There is no mysterious. The Chinese is using different terms, so we use today's term. The oxygen intake the body temperature cooling or regulations or managements, blood circulations, the action and reaction force handling. That is what is in there where people cannot see. Because what we see outside there, the move that can be seen. But can one handle the oxygen intake, the cooling of the body, the circulation and the action reaction force? That is not other people can see. Okay? It's not in the form. Okay? Now, 修炼套 says, fulfill the oxygen intake and the cooling, because that is the balancing of the body. If we do strenuous exercise, too strenuous, the body cannot cool, we can collapse. We don't have enough oxygen, we can collapse. Okay? The 修炼套 is the training of that. That is the internal conditioning. Okay? I will not call that internal art or the 内家 or those kind of things like the Tai Chi today, because that belongs to them. I'm not saying that they are no good and they are not true. I said that is the internal is belong to those group of people's term. Why is Wing Chun has to use somebody's slogan? And not only about that, we need to know what is the conditioning, what is the result one need to get. Okay? So today I can help you. You can go to the laboratory and test it. If the real training of 修炼套, meaning your breathing, your oxygen intake, meaning your diaphragm, and so forth. The body cooling, the mind stability, the action reaction force handling. Test in the lab can be done scientifically. That is Wing Chun. That is what comes with the Wing Chun 修炼套 sets. And when you go to the Cham Kyu or the second, third sections of the iYikKam 修炼套, then there's a tool can be tested. Okay? That's the reason why I don't talk about internal, I talk about 613.3. And if people don't want to talk about 613.3 in the Qi, I substitute it, say, okay, how about you talk about your blood circulation? That's 613.3S. Because in fact, yes, the Chinese Qi talk about Qi Xue, Qi Xue. Qi have to move, then blood have to move. Qi, the energy, it's got to do with your blood circulations. Okay? So all these things are scientifically be able to identify and observe in the laboratory. This is the inward training or conditioning of the Wing Chun Kid. Okay, so when the Chinese said this Wing Chun is for strengthen the body and self-defense, or Shaolin is for strengthen the body and self-defense. Okay, you can hear that it's a common philosophy or concept saying that the Chinese Kung Fu is strengthen the body and self-defense. That has its content there. It's not empty words. Why can strengthen the body? Because the oxygen intake and the body cooling, that has to achieve. Okay? Now, if one achieves that, for sure the body will be stronger than before, better than before, more healthier than before. That's called strengthen the body. As for the defense, self-defense, that need techniques. Okay? As we know, this is a long fist, this is a long fist, this is a long fist, this is a short strike. And Wing Chun belongs to the short strike group per 1560s, General Chi Chi Kuang's categorizations. Okay? We want to use general Qigong categorization. We don't want to use those internal, external stuff because this is created by somebody else to serve their purpose. And today we want to be technical. We don't want to get into those are politics. Okay, it is politics. Because seriously, when people say, "Oh yeah, you know, I train internal," well, we can say, "Wait a minute. How is your oxygen intake improved? How is your body temperature cooling capability improved?" If you don't have that, what is internal? Okay, that's the most bottom line. Anybody who say they train internal, if they do not know how to breathe the full body, forget about it. That is not a code to the Chinese culture. The Chinese culture always is a culture which is have the Chinese medicines, Taoist, and then the Buddhist, and then another thing, Mo and Confucian, Kongzi. They all is fused together. So this breathing and so forth is you can check it for thousands of years. It's like that. So when they create a martial art, that part of the culture or the platform of the breathing and so forth is always there. So the difference between Western martial art or Japanese martial arts is not in these techniques. Techniques, everybody have their way to do things, or the concept to do things, and there's no superior or inferior. Everybody, the long fist guy have his way, the short strike guy have his way. However, the uniqueness of the Chinese martial art is this training of the increased about oxygen intake and the circulations and the cooling of the body temperatures. Okay? And that turned out to be a type of healing art also. So that is the uniqueness of Chinese martial arts. It's not about, "Oh yeah, because I'm Chinese martial arts, I'll be fight better than other people." No, there's no such thing as that. Okay? Techniques is techniques. And the guy who trained or developed the techniques, if you get a guy who trained in, say, Wing Chun for 3 months, you fought a guy who is training in some other martial art very good in 2-3 years. Are you going to defeat him? Not necessarily. Okay? There's a really objective stuff. So this is what is going on. So if anybody here on saying that they have internal development, well, wait a minute, ask, how's your breathing? Do you know how to breathe? If that cannot be accomplished, forget about the body temperature cooling, forget about the meridians handling. Okay? So we need to be pragmatic, we need to be doing something which is we be able to deliver. It's not like in that book I show you, that person who wrote that fantasy fiction novel, 武侠小说, the martial heroes story, they can write anything they want. Okay? And so this is to share with you. Hope that Wing Chun get into scientific and people benefit both in daily life and be able to improve the skill and see things realistically. Finally, I like to mention one thing. Lately, there are somebody in the forum talk about history of Wing Chun again. You know what? Let me tell you about history. Most of the history is people like to use to promote themselves. Okay? Things can be twisted. And it is my opinion, today to say that if we in this era cannot cast in stone on the content of Grandmaster iYikKam interview 1972, okay, his interview 1972, if we cannot take that as it is and cast in stone, because that's what his accomplishment, that's we need to acknowledge that, okay? There's somebody's contribution there. If we cannot do that, forget about history. If we cannot do anything clearly and objectively, reasonably, objectively to acknowledge Grandmaster iYikKam's accomplishment, contributions, which is based black and white in his interview in 1972 prior to his passing away. What history we want to talk about? Fantasy? Okay. So for me is because I like to walk the directions of educations. It is equal for everybody. What is proper is proper. What is fact is fact. Otherwise, we're going to screw everybody. Okay. So this is to share with you today. So here on, if you are traveling same with me in the path of education, stop call the thing internal. You need to know what is one training, what is in the 6 core element. You don't even have to use the 6 core element name if you don't like it. But make sure you understand layer and layer what part have been trained, developed. Okay? So we are talking something we can deliver. It's not talking about some nonsense that we have no idea to deliver and then to just keep argue for nonsense, screw other people up and play other politics and wasting of the time. Okay? So this is to share with you today.